Good evening, everybody. Oh, we've changed. I'm going to move us again. Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this live recording of everybody's favourite podcast. It's Ben. It's everyone's favourite podcast. The Long Run Show, brought to you live from my house. Good evening. We are back. We had a couple of weeks off. We rested the show while we did some exceptional things around the world. And yes, we are back. To entertain you for the next hour. I'm hang on, where is it? I'm not kind of up to speed with what we're doing with all the bits and bobs, if that makes any sense. With all the stuff, how to work it and things like that. But anyway, yes, we are here. We are live. We've got a audience joining us slowly but surely. So thank you for everybody who's joining us. If you're taking us out on a run with you. I don't know if that makes any sense, but thanks. And I hope you have a good run. Joining me tonight, I've got the world's fastest hobbit. He's here with me, young Hayden. And I've also got the fastest man. Listen to this, Hayden. I've got the fastest man who buys bath products, but does not have a bath. Do you know anybody who runs faster than Ben that doesn't have a bath and spends stupid amounts of money in a bath shop?
I can't believe I told you that.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you told me. That was a stupid thing to do. But what I like tonight is the fact that you've got the comments being written on you down here. It's rather amusing. Can you go and change your top so it's black so they sound out a bit better?
I could just take...
No.
Turn it round.
Don't take anything off. Right, let me tell everybody what we're talking about tonight because they might think, oh, Christ, what we're going. So tonight, this is a good show, actually. Be serious. I want to know, or we will be wanting to know and finding out, what the hell do you do once you've hit your goal? Once you've attained your target? Once you've completed what you wanted to complete? What you set out for yourself as a runner? What the bloody hell do you then do? I'm being serious. It's a good question because it could be a slippery slope down, or it could be a moment in which you go, you know what, I'm going to go and do this. So we're going to get into that. We're obviously going to talk a little bit about Chicago. Because the three amigos which you have tonight, we were all in Chicago. But before I do that, I do want to give our sponsor Skechers a massive shout out because they supported us huge in Chicago. Big love to the guys at Skechers. Check out the Aero lineup. I know the guys and girls who wore them on the breakfast run loved them. So big shout out to the guys from Skechers and for supporting us while we were out there. We also recorded a pod while we was out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well, and thanks to everybody who came along to listen to that while we recorded it. So that was a good one, boys. How are we doing? Hayden, how are you first?
Absolutely fine, really good. Bit tired still, to be fair.
Yeah,
a little bit this time. Yeah, don't know why, but
it's age.
Yeah, it's age. All in all, good though. Legs feeling good. I'm ready to go out running again. Yeah, everything's good, mate. Can't complain. I had an unbelievable weekend. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. Benny boy, how are you this week?
Yeah, all good. I think, like Hayden, it's really taken it out of me. It's been very just a weird week for trying to get back into kind of sleeping patterns. But yeah, legs feel good. I had a sports massage on Tuesday. Kind of went where hurts. I was like, anything from the waist down, you're guaranteed to fix something. And yeah, ready to run this weekend. Be good to
it's mad,
get out there.
Oh, yeah, actually, it's a good point. First, I want to give a big good luck message to everybody who's running this weekend. We've got obviously Yorkshire Marathon. Is it Amsterdam as well this weekend?
Correct. Yeah, great stuff.
Great South. I was going to say that as well, but yeah, there's loads of other events as well. But yeah, good luck to everybody who's out there this weekend. We hope you have some fun and games. Yeah, you talk about the being tired and that. I'm a bit with you on that one. I'm absolutely ruined this week. I reckon I could sleep for about 1 million years if someone said to me, go over there and have a little kip. I could quite happily do that at the moment. I'll just see some of the comments. Thanks, keep the comments coming in. We do appreciate them. Again, if you're listening to this, probably got a live one. So thanks to everybody who's thanking, saying congrats to that stuff. We'll come on to that. But yeah, I'm just ruining it. I didn't know whether it's jet lag or I don't know. I'm glad you said that you're tired because I always get tired after like sort of big races, big social events, and that kind of, the way I'm wired. I find all that too much. Do you know what I mean? And I quite like just being on my own, really, after something like
Really?
that.
Shock! I never would have noticed that.
But even more so, I think anything like that, a big race like that, is so loud, but all the other stuff that goes with it.
Well, that's how things just hit the nail on the head. It's not just about the race. You think of some of the things you can do to like really make your body tired, and in that top 10, run a marathon's going to be in there. You're talking about traveling to the other side of the world. You're talking about, we had runs on the Friday, runs on the Saturday, marathon on the Sunday. We had live podcasts. We was all meeting up. We're in a new city.
We had drinking in the park.
Drinking in the park afterwards. It's absolutely full on 100 miles an hour. And obviously, and you think, just as you're getting through it all, you wake up on that Monday morning after it's all done, you feel like a hero. You've got to stay up all day and get on that flight, and you don't sleep right. Wake up Tuesday. Wake up after about an hour of sleep on the plane, and then you've got to stay awake the whole of Tuesday.
Oh,
it's a tough life.
Oh yeah, it was brutal on what day did we get back? Tuesday. Poor old Mrs. Ford. She had to put up with me all day. I went to Aldi with her. She never lets me go there.
Oh, poor
then she loves to go out and walk the dog on her own and that little bit. So I went with her. Went to pick the kids up. I was like, I have to stay awake, so you're going to put up with me and my autism today. You've got to deal with it. And it was great. She absolutely wanted to throttle my neck by the end of the day. But
to be fair, it's only what me and Ben had to put up for the whole weekend, so it's only fair.
About 7:30 on Tuesday night, I was still trying to talk to her. She's like, "Is he just going to leave me alone?"
You were still going at 7:30.
Yeah, then I was like this, and then as she went, "Right, you off you go." My hair, but it's true. It's that I think there's something of it. And then, as you say, then like we all were up and going to work. Like it's just mental, isn't it? It's just
That was a tough thing. I think was Wednesday morning, kind of getting up and you just that thing of, oh my god, I've got to stay awake all day and function.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. People think you just get flying around the world, run these marathons, and come home do nothing. No, it'd be nice if we did. It'd be lovely if we did, in fact. But yeah, no. But yeah, I say we're going to come on to hitting goals and things like that. I do, but I do want to talk a little bit about the Chicago weekend, which is why I deliberately put us three on. I think, where do we start, Hayden? Should we firstly start with, I think the community side of things was, I think, I don't know about you, but when I was away, I felt like the whole club community was with me. Does that make any sense? Like everybody was invested in not just like what we were doing, us three, but like what everybody was doing. Do you know what I mean? And there was a lot of races and a lot of events going on back home.
Yeah.
But I do think it was kind of cool how like everybody was just like up for it that weekend.
Yeah, it was just, I think you spoke about it afterwards, going back to last year. That's this same weekend. So last weekend, there's so much going on in the running world. There were so many races all up and down the country, and our community was involved in so many. So there was a lot of conversation between each other, congratulations, wishes of good luck, and the Chicago thing blended into that. They said there was about 50 odd of us out there just from the club. And if you think if everyone's got their own little community to 10 or 12 people each, you times that by the 50, and suddenly it feels like there's 300 of you out there in Chicago, and people are messaging you, you're messaging back. It did feel like I so totally get what you're saying. It felt like there's a big community sort of out there, and that is something to be able to have that almost like as a weapon in your toolkit, to have a community and people on your side with you. That is worth its weight in gold. That's absolutely, and that feeling, you hit the nail on the head, just spot on. It felt like the community was there with us. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
It is powerful, isn't it? It's like, I mean, I know we always bang on about how unique we are, but I think in weekends like that, where it was, as you said, it was just like we had like volunteers everywhere, and the races going on here, people running together, people doing park run together, and all this kind of stuff. I don't know, but then everybody was sort of like, everyone's going, oh, I'm tracking this, I'm doing that. And I don't know, the whole like ecosystem, the juggernaut was just fully mobilized. And I think everybody felt that. I certainly did, even though I was out in Chicago, time difference and all that sort of, I really felt that the sort of people, everyone behind you, it was cool, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah, I think what helps as well is with the time difference, almost all the races, like kind of as we were getting up, we we log on, right? We see Royal Parks, you saw, kind of Great Eastern and all the races that has happened, and so you're automatically kind of immersed, and it really helps take your mind off it. And it was just kind of like, oh, congratulations, well done, because it was Manchester half as well, wasn't it? And then
Yeah, that was it.
you
I've
know,
won Manchester
big
half.
big big contingent up there, and people kind of
Yeah.
mentioning going, oh, I got a PB, and you're kind of like so focused on that, and then by the time what we started 7:30, so what 1:30 over here, kind of people are finishing up, and as you said, I think I went on to Mark had put, I think on Saturday night, a list of all of us and our tracking numbers and stuff like that, and I'd gone into the app and kind of added everyone on there, and I was just, when you're scrolling through and I'm just like, are we basically just taking over the Chicago Marathon? This is
We did.
kind of,
We kind of did, to be honest with you.
we did, and it was I think for that, out of the 3 that I've done, that's where we've probably had the most people, and it was just an amazing weekend.
I'll tell you, both you said something I was going to pick up on actually earlier on. I was meant to say it was out there. This tracking thing has become absolutely huge. It's become like a sport almost. So we've got our own satellite clubs, got your own little groups of people. People on there, they're talking to each other saying, oh, Ben's done this now. I see Hayden's here. This person's here. And they're talking to each other saying, oh, he's just gone through 10K. I've just seen Louise has gone through halfway. And they're all talking to each other. It's become like, and afterwards they're like knackered. They're like, oh, they're home safe. That's fine. That's done. It's become like a sport. This tracking thing. It's like
the Nags, isn't it? It's like Cheltenham. It's like the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Wilco should get some on it.
Probably
right?
was. No, Ben, he probably is, and just doesn't tell anyone about it.
Yeah, that's down to Wilco.
Yeah, it was a bit like, as you say, that I don't get into that tracking stuff, but yeah, you do. Everyone's going, oh right, there's this and he's there and she's doing this and it's cool, isn't it? That's why I think it's so brilliant. Yeah. Everything that we've got, and it was really cool. Like how many people, like Americans, were going, what's this 40 runs and all this sort of stuff. So there's so much when we was out there, and that was kind of awesome. And like as I was running around, even though like I was sort of switched off from it, and I apologize if I didn't acknowledge you for shouting at me on calls, but so many people were shouting out 40 runs all the way around, and it's mad. You're out in Chicago, so it was a really cool thing the weekend to be a part of. But yeah, I just again wanted to say thanks to everybody for the support, and thanks everybody for the messages on my race video. I put a little short race video out, and people have been really kind on that as well. So thanks to everybody who's doing it. And we've got the weekend video coming out this weekend on Sunday. The sort of sit down, get a cup of tea one.
The movie,
which by the way, Hayden,
yeah,
I had to bleep and mute quite a lot.
Did you bleep it?
Oh yeah, listen, I only muck about with my little camera. Running with you, I had to bleep and mute quite a lot. Believe me.
I mean, there was quite a lot at the end of the race. So we've tried. I'll just put it out there. We've tried to cut and I had to cut a lot. We was very emotional, very
although it is a topic for another day. To be fair to you, some of it you was right. Race etiquette is starting to go down the drain a little bit.
No, I tell you now, I'm going to tell you now.
Honestly,
there's a lot of people who run these marathons. They're bloody rude and they've got no care and attention. I had to go at Geezer twice. Yeah, he was so out of order, and it made me laugh because when I saw Hayden's video, the geezer was the size of this house, right? Normally, you would go near him. But he cut across Hayden, really badly cut across Hayden. And I went after him, because you'd expect that. And then he kind of done it to me. Again, he was in his own world. He had his earphones on, right? But he had no care. He was literally zigzagging across people. It wasn't just like me, but he was doing it to everybody. And obviously, I say something because I can't help myself. But the etiquette of a lot of people was piss poor, to be honest with you. I think as Brits, I have to say, I think we're really good. 9 times out of 10 in races, we all take care, look after each other. We've got that sort of unwritten code that we all run to and all that sort of thing, right? But when you go out to these majors and you get these total morons like this guy, right? And I literally went up to him and I said to him, look, if you're going to do that over there, mate.
Like, it wasn't that polite. It wasn't that polite.
That doesn't sound like quite words that you would say.
I was trying to bridge the language barrier. I was giving him my best sort of Cockney Herbert sort of language because I thought he might understand that. which I think he did, didn't he, Hayden? Because then
Yeah. Yeah.
he said something and then just went away. But anyway, my point is that a lot of people out there were bloody rude and had no etiquette. So you need to check yourselves, people, because us Brits, we know how to do it properly, I would say. But yeah, so that was that. But yeah, I think the going back to the point, the video is quite a good one. I think you'll enjoy it. Weirdly, my screen just went black. So I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing that's going to be happening. But anyway, thanks again to everybody who is tuning in live. Right, so the next bit before we get on to hitting your goals, I do want to go through the race for you two, because you two had different races, I would say. One of you was so kind and looked after their mate the whole way. The other one just went, "Oh, sod him. I'm just going to go and do my own thing."
Hayden, I told you you're not allowed to do things like that. Hayden's 238. What can I?
So they had two different races. These two Herberts the weekend just gone. We had one who was sort of going for it, and then Ben, who came in at 25:01. Can you explain to the viewers and listeners why you decided to come in at 25:01 instead of 25:50 and 59? So then you was under the 2:51.
Oh, it's for Lulu.
Oh, is that what it was?
So I was I was running up to the finish line. And I was like, "Shall I check my watch?" And I was like, "No, do you know what? It really doesn't matter, right? I will not be fast, whatever the second count is." And I got over the finish line, looked, and went, "Oh, for God's sake!"
No, it's not what you said on the video that I had to
No,
mute.
that wasn't what I said on the video. I am now editing, and I was just like, but it makes for there's a skill to doing that, I think, right? So I should be able to finish my part run stopwatch bingo quite quickly, right? I've got
Yeah.
a few of them left. Yeah.
How was it, and on a serious point, running that hard in Chicago? Did it help? Did it help that you knew the course, and did it help that you'd PB'd there before? Oh, sorry. Just give it some context. So you ran 2:51:01.
Yep.
And you PB'd by how much?
Just over 4 minutes.
He's got a great coach. You're welcome.
That's why I ran 2:51:01.
Yeah. But yeah, I said to him, don't run any faster than 2:51. But no, seriously, how much did the course, how much did the fact that you PB'd on there before, that kind of thing, do you think helped?
I think the fact that I'd PB'd there before, I knew it was a fast course. So I think that's probably there, but not necessarily thinking about that. The fact that I knew the course, 100%. The amount of videos I've seen and people have shared with me on Insta this week of Hayden, I call it the Boston qualifying bit. As you kind of come around 22 miles and you see the 24-mile marker on the other
awful,
side.
that bit.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
And you're just like, this is punishment. But it's my kind of course. It's the bit where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I know I've just got to go up there, round and then
that corner,
kind of
come
straight,
back,
and then kind of straight up. So the fact I knew the course really did help. So I just had that confidence in terms of, okay, I can push and I know where I am and what I've kind of got left, and I can ease up a little bit here. And I was relating it in my head to previous years where like last year I'd gone so hard at the start and then fallen away. So I was just kind of associating it with that in my head. But yeah, knowing the course, you can't underestimate how much that really does help.
But you, Hayden, in terms of the course, how much of an impact knowing the course? I know you didn't run, but for like someone like Ben or somebody like maybe going to Yorkshire or whatever, knowing the course, how much do you think actually that helps people if they're trying to run a time?
Oh, absolutely, massively, because that unknown is another pressure on you, and it's another thought, it's another bit that's taking up your headspace in your head, not knowing how long is this out and back. When I go up here, is it going to go up a little bit, is it going to go down? When you actually do know what's coming, like Ben just said, for those of you who don't know, there's a part in Chicago, mile 22, where you literally just an out and back and you go up and you sort of circle back, but you can see the people coming the other way and you can see the 24-mile sign, and you know you've got 2 miles. And 2 miles, when you're over 21 miles, you know, no matter how fast you're running, it's still going to take you, if you're at Ben's sort of speed, it's still going to take you 14, 15 minutes. You know, that's hard running just to get back on the other side where you were. And that can psychologically get you down. But if you know that's coming in advance, it's almost something you glimpse. Like this time I was going up, I knew people on the other side coming down, but I knew that was the case anyway. So it didn't bother me at all. Whereas maybe it's your first time, you're looking, thinking, God, where are they coming from? How long is that going to take me to get there? it definitely absolutely helps. And you're also looking out for bits as well. The good thing with Chicago is it's got 29 different sort of district sort of thing that you go through, and I sort of knew where they were coming up a lot, not the whole 29, but a big
Hang on,
massive proportion of it.
that's total bollocks.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
29 different bits.
No,
Are you talking about
yeah.
29 different roads?
No. 29. What do they call them?
Districts.
It's like, I don't think it was
Or-
districts.
29 districts.
29. Yeah, 29 of them you go through. Yeah,
You
go
got
through
that right?
29 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and each one, I mean, like the Italian Quarter, Mexican, Chinatown,
making these
Korean
up?
town. No, honestly, mate, all 29 of them. And I knew a lot of them. I knew when they were coming up. I knew there's certain bits of the course that I really enjoyed and bits that I weren't so much going to enjoy. So, yeah, you're absolutely bang on with that. I think if that's a good tip for going forward. If you all honestly do want to go out and run a real good PB, maybe have a look at a race you've done before, or one where you do know the course and you know what's coming. I think it's a psychologically and physically, it's a massive help.
On a serious point, some of the people I coach, if we're going to go hunting, it's usually, unless it's their first rodeo, it's usually on a course that we've run before. You can't underestimate that, especially over I think with the marathon distance in particular, where it gets so mental.
Yeah.
In the later stages of a marathon, because physically you've done the training, yeah, you've done the best you can. What it comes down to a lot of the time is that mental aspect, yeah, and how much you can dig in, how much you can beat the demons and all that sort of stuff. But knowing the course, knowing where you are, knowing that you can ease off here and this is coming or this or that, or you've only got to get to X, Y, and Z. As I've always said, I know London course like the back of my hand, right? So to have that in your back pocket, I think is minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like literally. And when you're on the fine line, for Ben, it's obviously seconds now because of the times he runs. But you know, for normal people, it's minutes, isn't it? And
there were people there that PB by like an hour and stuff, weren't there, Hayden?
Yeah, there's some
really?
incredible, some incredible stuff. Well, I think again, if you're going to do your first marathon, you go and do something like, let's go, York's coming up. York's not, or Leeds Marathon. You go and do that in your first one, and then your second marathon, you go out to Chicago or Berlin, and you've got the placebo effect of being in another country. And that I can see you smashing a massive amount of time.
I've got a client who he just did Chester for his first one, but he's got London, and we always was like, Chester's just to get your first one, get your training block done, get through it. Understand? I said, because when you go to London, I'm telling you now, it'll be a whole different ball game. So get the learning done now in terms of how tough a marathon is. Understand what it feels like to like almost just sit and want to cry and walk and feel sorry for yourself. Do you know what I mean? And have pain in your feet, pain in your bum, pain in your head, everything, yeah, and deal with everything that comes at you. Because then when you go to one of these totally different events, you know, that's got massive crowds and it's maybe a little bit flatter or whatever, you're going to surprise yourself because that's going to carry you a long way.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Nike, because this is something that's been new over the last couple of years.
Nike or Nike?
I'll go Nike.
And you know this pod is sponsored by Skechers. They're going to be well happy with this section.
I know it is. No, but it ain't about the shoes. It ain't about the footwear. Listen, this is about the fact of them signs. The signs that they put out are absolutely fantastic.
Can you elaborate on those for the let's say the 900,000 people that download this that wasn't in Chicago?
Okay, it's not just Chicago. I've seen them out. They were really big in Berlin, to be fair, as well.
And
but basically, so Nike are going around putting up. They're doing billboards of these big posters. They're like just sayings of things to get you round, and they're handing them out for people to wave, like spectators as well. And one of them has got up to it's only about 10k in Chicago. Come around the corner, and it's massive lit up, and it just says "Shut up, brain," or "Shut up, mind."
I've never seen that one.
It's absolutely brilliant. You just go and you look at it, and you get a smile on your face, and for a few seconds you think, "Do you know what? That's true." And it's just stupid little things like that help. And I've picked out Nike because there's probably other places that do them. The people holding up the signs in the street, that's another tip as well. When things are getting tough, just start reading some of them. Some of them are absolutely, some of them are
hilarious.
But they are funny.
Rude as well.
Really good. Yeah, they are good. And they can be motivating. They can be motivating. So, it's really good.
To be fair, to the Nike stuff was really, really good, actually. I think you're right. Like, mile 23, when we made the turn to come back to 24, there was one right at the end of that. It was a big Nike section there. It was a massive, I can't remember what it said. I was too busy crying.
It was something about belief on that, because I read that one and was just like, right, I need to get a shift in here.
Yeah, it was a good timely thing. I can't remember what it was, but all of them, as you say, all of them were very fun, very good. They did good. And how would you boys like in terms of that, all that sort of stuff, like this year we've obviously been running so popular. There was probably 400 million shakeout runs just on Saturday at 9 o'clock alone. How would you rate that sort of aspect of it? I thought, by the way, I'm just going to tell, I'm going to go into this on the Marathon Talk podcast that's coming out, by the way. I thought the expo was total shit. I thought it was an absolute waste of time. Yeah, honestly.
You don't like expos anyway, though.
It's just like in a barn. It was like in someone's barn where they store their luggage, like people put their asses. And it was like gazebos because they couldn't be bothered to like buy a proper thing. It was just absolute toot. It was the worst expo I've been to. It was total and utter.
You wait till you start doing the super halves.
I ain't doing the super halves.
Yeah, they are awful. But for a marathon, I agree with you.
Don't need an expo. I don't understand it.
You have to pick your bib up, don't you?
It's a total waste of time as well. Just send you. They should give you all an option to have your bib sent out. Nobody needs to go to an expo.
Not even international.
But then you won't buy stuff.
If you want to, yeah, but you could go on Adidas and buy the Berlin stuff 6 months before you finished. It's pointless. Stupid. And it's the same with the Nike stuff. The Nike stuff was on sale on the US website. So you don't need to do that. Or like I did, go and get it from the Nike store. So what's the point? What's the point of making this?
It's because it's a business, it's commercial, and I totally get it.
We need money.
We need money pumped into the sport. No, you need money pumped into the sport to be able to put events like that on.
Oh yeah, because that filters all the way down, doesn't it?
No, but it puts on the event. It makes it. To be fair, it's absolutely awesome. Like this year, they spent more money. You wouldn't have seen it before. At the very start, when you go across the start line, you go under the tunnel.
Where they took that big banner down. Yeah.
Usually it's quiet there. It's just dark. It's quiet, and you can hear footsteps. You're just starting. It's getting hot as well, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be tough. This year they put a DJ on with all the lights, and it was loud. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It just changed everything. Like that. Yeah.
Do you remember me telling everyone, right, you'll start 500 meters later, you go into this pitch black tunnel and you'll probably trip over someone. And I ran into the tunnel and I'm like,
going to Ministry of Sound.
Yeah, I was like, is my mind playing tricks on me? I swear this wasn't here for the last 2 years unless I'm just going crazy. And I was like, that was brilliant.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I was all right, but I was just more interested about the shit expo.
The expo is the expo. I think it's one of them things where you've got to decide at the start whether you want to go there and you want to look around all the stalls, or if you just want to go in, get your bib, get your t-shirt and get out.
They could make the aisles a little bit wider.
It's busy, wouldn't they? Yeah.
It's very cramped.
No, they should just send you your number in the post and say, here's a link to buy all your merch. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, but again, let's go on. Let's talk about it. And the merch. How much merch did you actually physically buy at the expo?
0.
The same as me, 0. I bought it all from the shop. So yeah, it isn't about just going there to buy the merch, because obviously it's all available in the shops, like you said. So that for me, that wasn't the primary thing. I don't know. I just think as well, you got to find something to do the day before a marathon. You don't want to be. It's just another thing to take your mind.
You don't want to be miserable and sat in your hotel room. Is that what you're going to say?
No, exactly.
I wasn't. Exactly. I went on a boat cruise because you made me go on it.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun.
I went on a boat,
concussion.
And I don't like boats. I don't like them even more when Sue Flynn's on them.
Has that made the video?
No, but when she tried to kill me, I still got.
She did try to kill you.
Anyway, getting back on point, you lot taking me off of it. I think you're all trying to cause trouble tonight. Well, by the way, we are going to talk about what you do once you've hit your goals.
And by the way, there's 29 neighbourhoods. That's what I was looking for. Gavin just put it in the
neighbourhoods. There we go. I was going to say something. Last thing about Chicago, but I can't remember where it was.
Sunrise Run.
Yeah,
is that the best 5K in the world?
I'm not being funny. I think that's the best 5K I've done. It was
beautiful.
I've got to give him credit, and as much as it annoys me, I have to say the route for the Sunrise Run, running along the bank of Lake Michigan, as the sun was coming up, it was simply stunning. It really was. The colour of the sky, you know, that being sounding soppy, it was beautiful running along there that time in the morning. It was like that sort of orange glow to everything. It was so nice.
Hayden.
Yeah, well, he's always got that orange glow, hasn't he? It's his makeup. But it was, you know, you was with really nice people. It was a great route. It was a steady pace. Obviously, Sketchers were there. Big shout out to them. Everybody was there for the right reasons. We weren't fussed about, you know, looking good on TikTok or Instagram for this and that. You know, there's none of that. And it was just really nice to get out of the sort of funfair and mayhem of shakeout runs and just go for a really nice run along the lakefront when the sun was coming up. It was honestly, full credit to you, mate. It was.
It's beautiful.
I think it was one of the best, if not the best, 5K I've run. It's one of those that stays with you. I would say the Bobblehat run. It was good. I liked it. But again, there was a lot of helmets there. There was a lot of helmets there. I'm not being funny, but I don't really. There wasn't there? One of them was my brother, by the way, who tried to beat everyone on the line. I don't really know what he was doing there.
He ran 7K.
Yeah, he had Bryce ran 7K. Brilliant. No, but no, the serious point. My brother was helmet, but no, it's the fact that there was a lot of. I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting. I really had a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I loved the idea of it. I think it's brilliant. As I've said before, that's the sort of thing London needs to do. I think it's great to get people together. Hopefully it could be free, but whatever. I'd still pay for it if they did something like that in London. And it's got that unique element with the bobblehead. I think that's kind of cool. But it was different to what I was expecting. And not necessarily in a bad way, but yeah, there was quite a few helmets there. I'm not really sure.
It is really hard to describe. Like, we were coming up to the line and there was that group and we were like just trying to get through and they were just, and then trying to almost tripping you up and you're just like, oh, really? I don't need this today before the marathon. But the bobblehead run is special. It is just a special run. I think the last 3 years I've done it, I've just had such a good time. And like,
yeah, we did have a good time.
And running that this year, and we just stopped. Like, we had a toilet stop on it, didn't we? On a 5K.
This is a guy that runs a 250 marathon, and he has to stop for a wee and a glass of water. 250 101, yeah. And he has to go to the toilet and get a glass of water on a 5K. Bizarre.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. But because he said he was stopping, guess who else stopped?
and then the others stopped, and then we came out of the toilet, and Hayden's just like waiting there, and we're like, oh, we might as grab a glass of water while we're here.
That water.
Have a lovely time.
And then Bryce hadn't realised, and he carried on, and then he's coming back. I went, all right, bro, and he just came over because it's done matter, and then done 7K. And the poor guy, you've got to remember, my brother, right? He's not a runner, but that's the first time he's done like back-to-back like runs since I think Ragnar, like when we dragged him along for that. He's a swimmer, yeah. That's his thing. So he was.
I'll tell you what, Chris, sorry, fitness aside, forget about the fitness and that. What he did say to me, Bryce, which is quite interesting. That was the first time ever he'd been in a pen corral. It's his first experience ever in one. It was quite like there's a lot of people in it now.
Yeah,
this is the sort of thing. You go to Great North Run and things like that, and you're squashed up. We were quite lucky; it wasn't too bad when we was there, but it's amazing. We all talk about running, we take it for granted, don't we? We think about the race and like, oh, our leg's going to hurt, or we're going to get this time. We don't even think about, oh, it's our first time in that corral. It's scary, that is, that pen.
That's what I'm saying to you. I go back to what I always say, how intimidating these big races are. Yeah. And don't forget, you know, it's like somebody's going into their first 5K. Imagine if it's your, like I was when we started all this madness in 2017, first marathon. Right. And again, that's, you know, that goes back to my point. That's why I always say that's where the meetups came from. You know, it's because let's get people together. Let's reduce some of that anxiety about stuff. Let's try and get together. That's the founding part of what we do, right? And that goes through all to the satellite groups as well. The satellite groups are there to get people who, you know, together, who may want to run together locally, who, you know, probably begin with may have thought, you know what, I don't fit into that club because the way they were. Obviously, clubs have changed for the better. And again, that's how that all started to turn that on its head. So yeah, you do forget those little bits that, you know, people do I won't say struggle. You know, some people do more than others, but it's still an intimidating place to go. But he was slightly upset that there wasn't more merch for the 5K.
More merch. There's a lot of goodies. We had loads of stuff.
No, he like we've got our t-shirts and all that. He was like, "Where's my hoodie? Where's my 5K?"
They could have sold some actually.
I'm
probably
right.
Off. Yeah,
I'm making right. Nike could have absolutely proper coined it in. Not though they did any amount of money. They outrageous. I've never seen
queue
it
round
like.
the block. Oh, no.
Oh, just so everyone knows, like on the was it Monday, Sunday?
Monday.
Monday.
That was Monday. Yeah.
The queue around for the Nike store was unbelievable. It
I know,
was.
Chris, I know we really got to get this topic, and I'll be really, really quick, but there's one thing that I never understand in marathons, and New York was one that hit home with it. This getting your free engraving of your medal on the day after the marathon, but you've got to queue up for 3 hours. Are you off of your absolute mind? Why would you do it when you can come home and get it engraved safely when you're at home, nothing going wrong, for about a £5 or a tenner at Timpson's or wherever it is? But people queue up for 4 hours just to get it free.
He's getting
No,
really angry.
it really, really baffles the life out of me. I go back to Enchitilla when she was at Boston, and she gave it to the guy, and the guy said, "Come back in half hour." I went back, and he'd done it all wrong. He cocked it up, and he had to take it back to Boston and post. Why would you do that? Just come home and get it engraved.
There's no way I would. Firstly, it's no queue, but secondly, I would. I said to Bro about it. I said, "There's no way I'd run the risk of that being cocked up, and then having to get sent one and all this sort of stuff. Not abroad. I mean, you, Ben, you got yours done in the pen because you was waiting so long for me and Aidan. But it's true, it was. It was true. But have you got any of your other medals engraved?
No, it was just something they were doing them in the park last year for free, and I didn't. But and then this one, I was like, oh well, they're doing it over there. There's no queue. I was going to get a beer, and
there's no one here.
Actually, and so I went over, and the guy typed it. You saw it on screen. I checked it. He did it while I was literally stood over his shoulder, and it was done. But it was only that's the first ever medal that I've had engraved. Would I do? Would I queue? Would I queue for it? God no, I'm not that fast.
Would you? Last thing on that, did he laugh when he had to put the 01 on?
Yeah.
He did.
And then Gavin went to Tracksmith and got me the poster, which has the route map. And they went, "Oh, what was the official finish time?" And they were like 2:51. He's like, "Oh," and they went 01, and he just started laughing.
So bad. Look, I want to get onto this, so we're moving on. But I'm going to say three things. Firstly, we have been shortlisted in an award for the Running Industry Awards. What's the category?
Community Impact Award.
Community Impact Award.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, if you're one of the 1 million people that's going to download this episode this week, please head over to just Google Running Awards. No, Running Industry Awards, and vote for 40 Runs. Okay, we appreciate you. Thanks very much, and thanks to everybody who got us that far. Okay, we don't do these things for awards, as you may guess, but we appreciate the fact of what we do has been recognised. Okay, because we don't get a lot of recognition considering how we've changed the landscape. So thank you very much. Secondly, running show. Don't forget, get involved in that. Saturday, we're going to be there. I don't know whether the Code 40 Runs still works. I've got no idea. But get along to that on the Saturday. We're live on show. We're going to be doing the rave run. Make sure you sign up for the rave run at 5 o'clock on the Saturday. And the last thing, we've got the Christmas lights run. You can now book onto that. There's already quite a few of you coming, which is kind of cool. But please sign up because we are going to have to limit numbers this year. All right. More details to come out. At the moment, as it stands, we're rolling with what we did last year. We're hoping to take it up a notch, but let's see what happens. But please sign on now. Okay. It's all on the events page on the website. I just had a note to remind myself to do that because we say these things, unfortunately, we do have to limit numbers on for safety. All right. Okay. Right. So moving on. PBs or races that you complete. You've achieved your target, achieved your goal. It is something that hopefully you will get to that point, right? You don't just keep banging your head against the wall. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And you keep going, right? But it can be quite a thing that you then go, yeah, now what? And it can leave you quite flat. And it can leave you in many different ways, I would say. Hayden, you've obviously run fast times. You qualified for Boston, which was your aim. Did you feel after you did that you had like a bit of a lull?
No.
Sorry. When you got your 6 stars as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say to you. With me, it wasn't so much the time. It was the 6 star. Absolutely, it was such a big thing to get to that point. I suppose the same thing if you're targeting the time. Such a big thing to get to the point. And once you get it, and it was incredible. Everything about it. And same thing. You come home from that, and as the title of this podcast is, it's like, well, what's next? Well, what do you do next? What is out there? What is going to motivate you? What's going to how are you going to get back to that feeling that I had just 5-6 days ago, or that feeling when I started this journey and number 1 done, number 2 done, and that feeling, how you can get back to that? And that's the question that everyone wants to know. And there's certain ways and certain things you can do to, reactivate your mind, reinvigorate yourself, give yourself new challenges. But yeah, I totally agree with you. It's difficult. It's difficult.
It is hard. Ben, again, I mean, you PB'd again, but it's getting tougher for you to PB. Not being horrible, because you're now really starting to. Yeah, we had a plan. We've got a plan for you that's actually more next year and the year after. But ultimately, do you get to a point like you obviously you didn't go out there necessarily to run that time. We never gave that pressure on you to run that time. I said to Ben, if anybody realized, like, just go out there and run what you want, right? We're training for next year at the moment. So just go out there and see what happens. If you run 3:32, well done. As long as it, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter, whatever it is what it is. But you ran that time. Have you been in the past sort of flat after running, like when you first went under 3?
Yeah.
I know you then went and done it a couple of times, but was you then a bit flat, or how did it affect you?
Yeah, I think after, so last year obviously I did Berlin, then Chicago and New York. So that kind of kept that short-term goal in sight. But after New York, it just kind of it was that element of, oh right, okay, I've done the sub 3. I've kind of done what's next, and actually I just want a bit of a rest. And you take that time, but then it was getting back into it. Like, I really struggled just to kind of get that motivation for getting back out and running, and just like, well, I've done what I needed to do. I don't know. I don't really know what I want to do next, and almost you kind of can fall into that. Oh well, I'm not running. It's quite nice to not be running, but then I think you get into a bit of a vicious circle, and then the gremlins in the mind start kind of playing up. And I think, yeah, like Hayden said, there's a few things to kind of get out of it. For me, I think one of the important things is go back to the why. Why did you start running in the first place? And I think it's, I've always said, for me, it's a social element. I love drinking after a race. Me and Hayden both, me and Hayden, we were basically mind sweeping beer tokens last weekend. But that for me is, that's one key that I would say is kind of that motivation comes from the think about your why.
Yeah, good point. I was thinking about this because someone obviously is just ran their fastest marathon time. The first thing I think for me was to although I didn't celebrate because I was still annoyed about it, but
stupidly.
But I'm still annoyed about it. I can't even talk about it. But I celebrate. I didn't celebrate the time because the time, again, is not that relevant to me. But I know my time wasn't as quick as the training had pushed out because I ran badly. But what I did celebrate for me, and this is what I'm trying to get to, is in that celebration element, which I think we should all do if you hit your target. I was celebrating the fact that I got on the plane, I'd done the flight, I'd done the social, the stuff that the running bit for me is the easier bit, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm all right when I'm out there, as long as I don't necessarily like the noise so much, and people near me and people cutting across me and I'd say shut up. But no, on a serious point, I prefer the running bit, the other stuff. So I celebrated that element of it, the fact that I did that weekend, getting out of my comfort zone there. I think the other thing, I think if you hit that target, let's say, is to recover properly, but not just physically, but mentally. It's very easy for us all to go out and running and stuff. And I'll come on to that in just a sec. But I think the recovery of the mind is just as important, because you've probably, without knowing it, you've probably put yourself under some pressure. Yeah. Again, I'm not talking time. So I'm talking, maybe it might be a distance. It might be, your first you might be your first 5K, whatever it is. But unknowingly, you might have put yourself under pressure. Okay. So that's going to mess with your head, and you need to allow yourself to recover from that massively. So, celebrate whatever the win was, like Ben said, but also recover from celebrating and whatever was that. The other a couple of things was reflect on what worked, because there's going to be bits in your training that were really good, and there's going to be bits in your training that was total and utter shit. Yeah, but that's good. As I said to you, like with the example of the person who's training for Chester, you know, and it's got London. We hopefully we learned a lot. You know, we got a lot of bad stuff done. You know, right? We're not going to do that again, and we're going to do a little bit more of that this time. That's the cool thing. Like, so work out, and then even what worked on race day, what worked and what didn't work, because there's going to be stuff that you did on race day that you won't want to repeat again. Yeah. So then those sort of things. Analyze your race data. This is where I got really annoyed with myself. I was sitting there thinking, okay, I didn't do too bad today. And then my brother sits there and goes, "You seen your first 5 miles today?" I went, "No." "Yeah, that's probably why you've ended up falling on your ass at about mile 21. I was, "Oh, right." And because basically I ran the first 5 miles like I was qualifying for Boston. What a hero. Totally the wrong thing to do. But it is important to analyze your data. I'm not somebody who heavily relies on data, but I think it is important to have a look back at how you did, not necessarily on race day, but your whole training book. I had a look on Strava, and I don't know whether you could do it on Garmin, but so you two can answer this. I was seeing if I could download my whole training block. Do you know if that's, according to Google, it didn't look possible. You could do a data dump of what they got on you, which they legally have to require to do. But I didn't know. I think that would be a cool thing. So, Pete, if you're listening from Cooper or anyone, I think that'd be a cool thing to do, to be able to take the data that you've got and download it and look through it. I mean, you could do it manually, of course, but who's got the time to do that? If you've got a life, then you're probably not going to be able to have time to do that, right? But I think it would be cool. As a coach, I go back through my clients' data, but I literally look on a week by week or a session by session, because I'm looking for certain trends, certain correlations that I'm looking to improve on for the next block or for whatever we're doing next. But I do think it would be cool on a personal level to be able to go and data dump some of that, wouldn't you? What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, because I think I do that through my training as well. There's a number of runs that I'll probably repeat during my training block, and so I'm one of these. I will go back and go, right, what did that look like last week? Am I seeing the improvement week on week? So I think, yeah, that would be really cool. And surely in the world of AI and stuff like that, that's got to be possible.
Yeah, I would. What about you, Hayden? Was that saying if they could do that, would you then look through and have a look like at your mileage and your sessions and
Yeah, absolutely. There is data you can pull off, because I was able to pull off sort of my average weekly mileage over the past sort of 16
Oh
weeks.
yeah, but I'm talking like it'd be interesting to see like the sessions and your
Right.
things like that. I don't know if you could correlate. If anybody knows that, just let us know.
And the amount of stuff, and if on a watch you can see how far you've hit your golf ball, and how many times you walk around a hole. I'm sure they can do stuff like that.
You've got to be able to do it, like all these other data points and things like that. I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool. But anyway, my point is just to make sure you go back and do have a look at some of your data, in particular your race data. And this is, I think, the sort of the biggest, two biggest things actually. I've got a couple more, but the two biggest is to give yourself a reset period. Right now, if you're like me, I'm basically ready to go. I'm mentally, even before I started that race, I'm like, I'm ready to train again. Okay, but I've had to check myself all week. Right, I've given myself the week off. I'm allowing myself. You might think I'm nuts, but I'm allowing myself to eat, drink, and do whatever I want in that respect. I'm allowing myself to, lay about, Nick or kill me. But you know what I mean? Just to put my feet up and try not. I'm trying to do less filming, less editing, all that kind of stuff, and trying to have a real sort of 2 weeks recharge. And I think you should really, once you hit that, and it's not just because I've just done a marathon, it's because I've achieved what I set out to achieve 18 months ago when I said I was going to run Chicago and I was going to run my fastest marathon time. And I've been living with that for that whole period of time. Again, it's irrelevant. You could have said you was going to go and run your fastest park run. But you do need, I believe, as a coach, to give yourself a reset period. Now, that could be 2 weeks, could be 6 months. It depends on you as an individual. For myself, I've given myself 2 weeks. Now, the eating, I've given myself a week because I know how bad I am. Because Daisy just walked past me and gave me the look. Are you really eating that many bags of crisps? Like, I did just have that look from Daisy. And yes, it was a lot. But it's true. I think a reset period can be so powerful. You're nodding.
Yeah, I 100%. I think that goes back to the mental kind of that mental break as well. So similar to you, I'm on a everything I can eat, anything I can eat this week, and I've given myself a week as well with that. Running perspective, yeah, kind of similar. I've taken the week off. I'm going to run this weekend. I'm down at Great South, but it's not like I'm not going mental and stuff. I think you mentioned the 6 month element, and everyone's going to be different, right? I think you've got to know yourself and how your brain is working and how your mind is working,
Yeah.
because like I said, you can get into that vicious circle where you if you start thinking, right, I should go out for a run, that's the point at which you need to go out for a run, because
Yeah.
you're just going to start almost eating yourself up, and you just get spiral then. And that would be what I did after New York, and I'll openly kind of say that I did spiral, and I was just like, I can't get out. I'm just really struggling to go for a run, and I lost all routine. And it was only that you were like, right, we're going for a long run Saturday, and that was what almost dragged me out of it.
I think it's a real slippery slope. You do see it. You see people are doing a lot of marathons and all this because it's great to do for content. And then the next day they come back and they're back out running, and then they wonder why they perform badly race after race. It's because you're meant to recover, you're meant to rest, you're meant to peak for that race. Look how the elites do it. There's a reason. There's a science behind it. Okay. So I get a trifle upset when I see this, like people, because it looks good on the gram to go and do a story and put your overlay on. Why are you running? Why are you out running? Why are you not resting? And why are you not recovering? Why are you not letting your brain heal? And you're getting that mindfulness and getting recentered for your own well-being, instead of that constant thing to just try and be good on social media. It doesn't necessarily matter whether you've done a marathon or a 5. It doesn't matter if you're doing a marathon or a 5K. It's still relevant, and it's even more relevant if you've gone out there and you've achieved the goal that you set yourself, because that could have been a goal 5 or 6, 7 years that you could have set yourself. And I think, Hayden, going back to you, because I say achieving that 6-star, was there a period after that you really hit that reset?
Yeah, and I think it's important to stress that when people say, like you've said, hit that reset button, that doesn't mean just sit down and do nothing. I'm going to sit there and just do absolutely nothing until that's my reset. No, it's almost like reset your mind, reset that goal, that ambition that you've got at the moment. Instead of thinking straight away, right, what is my next goal? Just relax, reset that button, have a good think about it. I think a really good technique as well is also when we start thinking about, like we just talked about, we've hit this peak. I think why it's going to work with you 40 years, your PB in a marathon isn't your target. It wasn't your peak. Your target, what you want to do, is a few years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's giving you that longer period of time. So if you're going to set yourself a target and achievement, maybe it is a 6 stars, you're only at 1 star now. Great, it's going to take you a few years. That's good. That's a better technique than thinking to myself, right, I'm going to set myself a target now. I'm running Brighton Marathon. I'm going to run sub 3 or I'm going to run sub 4. That is my goal. That's my everything. You put everything into it. You don't get it. You beat yourself up. You get it and you think, right, what now? Instead of that, think to yourself, do you know what? Until I'm going to be running for the next 3 or 4 years of my life. By the time I get to like 40, by the time I get to 50, I want to have done 8 marathons, or I want to have done one of them under sub 3, or I want to have done that. Have that long-term goal. And then the other goals are like intermediate goals. In the meantime, hit them. Then you haven't got that big, massive rise to the top and that big fall. Every time you're building slowly. Eventually, you're going to get to that point where you've done everything you want to do. But at that point, when you've done everything, you'll know in yourself, you'll be happy in yourself, and you can relax and just think, you know what? I've achieved it all. Just don't build up everything on that one thing. It's almost like red and black gambling everything on something.
I think an element of this is social media, right? In terms of wanting to, you know what I mean? Because it's everybody's doing it. I think there is an element of that, trying to achieve all this continuous
instant gratification, right?
Yeah, and it's quite sickening. This is going to look good on an overlay. This is going to look good. I'm going to now go out and get my 6 star because I've done them then all in a year. What a hero I am. Yeah, but then what you can do?
And
Why
that was what Hayden
rush?
said.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, no. This is the thing. I think
Yeah.
with it depends what look. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own goals, and I respect everybody for whatever they're looking to do. Okay, and that's the thing. But you know, the last thing I was going to say on this is that once you've achieved that goal, don't then rush into the next PR chase. Don't then rush into the next big long distance. Don't rush into the next marathon. Give yourself time. Maybe choose a goal that doesn't necessarily relate to what you've just done. Maybe a slightly different motivation for whatever reason, whatever it is. But take a step back and go, right, I worked really hard for that. I'm now going to go this way just for a period of time because I feel like I could put my energy into that. And it's not, and it doesn't have to be chasing a time. It could be anything. Like I'm going to be chasing a time, basically for shits and giggles between now and the end of the year, just for a laugh. I'm going to go and have a go at a half marathon. I'm going to go and have a go at a 10K, even though I've already PB'd in both this year. Basically, because I want to have some fun doing it. I just want to push and see what's there. Yeah, because I've had a good training block. That's my motivation. But it's not an out and out target for me. It's not like when I said Chicago, I'm going to go there and I'm going to try and run this. Yeah. It's more for like basically just to have a bit of a giggle, bit of a laugh, we cock about. And if I could do it, great. If I blow up, it'd be even more funny. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a totally different mindset than saying to yourself, I'm going to go and run my first 10K. I'm going to go and run my fastest marathon. It's a total different mindset of going into it and the pressures that can come with it. And I've got no pressure to go in and run in those two races. I've got zero. So I'm going to have even more fun. I'm going to be even worse to be around because I just simply don't care what's going to happen. And it's brilliant. And that fills me with more motivation than anything else to keep going, but to have this period of time now to reset, rebalance myself, recenter myself. So I'm ready then to go and have some fun. And my short-term goals are basically to get back to not get back to having fun, because I'm always having fun. But you know what I mean? Instead of this more sort of direct, concentrated, committed approach that I had during that training block, which has lasted, for argument's sake, 18 months after I tore my calf. Now it's all about going back to having some fun again until the end of the year. And I think that's what I'm saying. And that's my goal. It doesn't mean that's what yours is. It's you choose whatever you want to do.
You give up so much on it, especially a marathon training block.
Oh.
You do give up so much, and you're outranked. So all those things, you sit down and think about all the things you neglected, whether that's your wife or your husband or your kids or the dog or your work. It could be absolutely anything. It could be the fact that you used to like going for a swim every now and again, but you sacked that off because you wanted to go for a hard run. Go back in the pool and go for a swim. Go for that bike ride. Go take the dog for a long walk. Take the kids to football, swimming, whatever, because you think, I haven't got that pressure on me no more, that's come off of me. Otherwise, it's pressure. Otherwise, you're going to end up, I promise you now, I'm not the most experienced, wisest person in the world. You'll end up resenting the thing that you love doing. And that is not.
And that's the thing. And I'm telling you now, when you look to go again for whatever that target is, whether it's to go sub 4 in a marathon, run under 3 hours in the half, whatever. If you haven't reset properly and you've given yourself a little bit of a change up, you ain't going to do it. You ain't. It's going to be bloody murder. And you're going to have to work doubly hard to achieve that if you actually stopped and done the sort of things that we've spoken about today. From 3 relatively experienced people, I would say, we've learned, and I've learned the hard way. It's again, I tore my calf muscle because I went out there and I was coaching and doing this and not looking after myself after I did London. You've got to learn from these mistakes that you make. And we've all 3 of us have learned from silly mistakes that we've made. But we all know now that I the only reason I started taking a full week off, right, all those years ago, is because my mate told me to do it. Because he's, you know what I mean? And I thought to myself, no, Hayden's, like, as you all know, I look up to Hayden in terms of as a runner. I can't look up because he's so small. But he's, on a serious point, he's someone that I respect in terms of his running. And the fact that he was taking a week off, and I wasn't. I was taking a few days off, but I wasn't taking, I'm talking off of running, yeah? I'm not talking about the other aspects I spoke about. I thought, actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense to me. And ever since then, I've done it. and it's really, really worked for me. Everybody's different, by the way, but you've got to find something that so especially we're talking about when you've hit that target of that you set yourself, whatever it is. Just allow yourself that period of time, and do celebrate it, whatever the win was, whether it was, getting on the plane or running that fastest time, whatever it is, it's important. Right, okay, team, we've done an hour. Last thing, and then we're going because it's been a long old show, and we've got to film another one after this. I do just want to say, on a personal level, I do want to thank both of these. I've said it before, and I'm going to thank them again. They hate it. I want to thank. I'm going to start by thanking Ben for looking after me when I was in Chicago. Obviously, my brother deserves the biggest thanks. Just imagine what he had to put up with. No, I'm being serious. Just imagine what that poor guy had to put up with. So my brother deserves the biggest thanks out of everybody, and I love him to bits. He's my hero. But big shout out to Ben for taking care of me also on the running side of things when I was out there, and obviously Hayden. There's no way, absolutely no way, I'd probably still be out there now. I'd still be shuffling about at mile 24, but it was having him there. I would never have been able to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and I wouldn't have had the guts to turn around and say that I'm going to go and do that in Chicago without his the way he talked about it and the way he spoke about it and the way he's pushed me into doing that. I'll never have had the guts to go and do that. So both of you, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I've told you that as well, but I wanted to do it on here as well. And shut your faces if you've got anything to say about it. I don't care. Right. I'm back on Monday for a live stream. We're going to be talking about running shoes and coaching stuff. So make sure you get involved in that. Come and join me on a Monday. Don't forget to vote for us in the whatever I called it. What was it, Hayden? Can you remind me while I look for the outro?
It's it's some form
Running
of
Industry Awards.
Running Industry Awards. That's
Thanks
the one.
very much for that. Don't forget to get your long run merch. So when you're out there running, tell everyone you listen to the podcast.
And do you know what? Actually, big shout out to the amount of people out there throughout the whole weekend that come up to us who listen to the podcast. There was loads of people.
Brilliant.
So hello to all of you.
I'll leave you with this story. I think I told you to. The lady who came to the shakeout run, the shakeout, I hate that word, the sunrise one.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, Fordy, I saw you on the plane. I was listening to you while I was sitting on the plane and you walked past me. And was up in the air. Worked that out. 35,000 feet. She's on the plane, never mind. She's listening to the pod that I walk past. I think that's just so cool. It's just one of the best stories I heard all weekend. But yeah, thanks to everybody who does listen. Thanks to everybody who's already bought the t-shirts and all that merch. Get involved, getting stuck in with all that. I'll see you guys on Monday. Next week, we've got the New York Marathon Talk special. So if you're doing the New York Marathon, tune in for that. That's a good one. And that's it, team. So, boys, I'll see you later. I'll play the outro. So, take us out, Ben.
Bye, boys.